Gee, yeah, of course. Well, it's me, and I am back, and it's actually a consecutive video. Um, and you might notice that I'm actually in Scratch. That's because I decided to go back to Scratch tutorials because, um, well, they're Scratch tutorials, and I find them a bit more helpful than, like Roblox videos. Which is why I'm gonna be doing like a series sort of thing. It's like a kind of a grinding. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but today we're gonna be. It's gonna be a multi-part like thing where I am going to teach you how to build a game that I will call rank tanks. I know it sounds a bit like corny, but it's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna name this rank tanks. So basically, the point of this game is that it's like kind of like my base defender, but it's kind of different. So you're a tank, and you have to destroy these missiles going near you, and you have to hit the missiles before they get to you, and they're not going towards it, so it's kind of like a base. So it's basically base defender, but we're gonna add a bit different things. So basically, the inside of these bombs you get gold, which is how you get the gold, right? And then as you progress and the more gold you get, you'll get a checkpoint and you'll get a save star. And then once you get a save star, you can move on to next tiers of tanks. And with the gold, you can buy better tanks, which have better like rates of fire and all of that. So in part one, we're going to be building the main physics. We're not going to go into much of the art. We're just going to build the what you call the missiles coming in from the side, from the top, and you have to shoot them. We're gonna add that, and we're just gonna get the basic stuff down, and then in the next video we'll probably cover let's see, we can start working on explosions and effects for like the missiles, and probably make a proper counter for the variables. So I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you find this useful, and be sure to like and subscribe because we're really near 100, and I really want to get to 100 subscribers because it makes me feel like I've accomplished something. So, alright, let's get right into this. So we're going to paint a sprite, obviously. And we're just going to call this tank. We're going to call this tank base because there's going to be two parts of the tank. So the tank base is basically what moves around, and then the tank top is going to be the thing on top. So we're just gonna build like a quick tank. This is gonna be the military tier, so it's just gonna be your normal boring green ones that like so like this. So you want to make it like fairly large. I guess this would do because we're gonna have missiles coming from all over here. So now let's add a bit more effects because I don't want this to be a boring green squares. So we're gonna make a bunch of corners here, and we're gonna make these pointed. And this is so that we can stretch them out, and we'll get like more of a curved effect. So since you're looking at a small screen, you'll definitely see this as a curve, and it definitely helps with making this look better. So now we're gonna work on some of these like lines. They're just kind of there. So we're just gonna move this over here. Pardon me for my loud keyboard, but so here, this will do, and now we're gonna have to make like the sidelines for the tank. So we're gonna make this a bit thicker, and I'm gonna make lines here. So this looks much better. Now we're just gonna copy this, and we're gonna put this on the other side, like this. and we're probably gonna add like a bit of squares to make like the rims for the wheels for the treads. So it's gonna look like this. Alright, so just gonna keep on copying this. We're gonna put probably like 3 of them. And there we go. Now I'm just gonna copy this. And then we're gonna just put this on the other side. Just to save time because we need to get to the physics. So this is a tank base. This is just the bottom part. But don't worry, it's gonna get a little more like complex. And again, if this doesn't like look satisfying or like something that requires lots of effort, but don't worry, there'll be a completely dedicated episode to like making this look like a better tank. So we also, something that is always necessary when you're like making something that moves around is centering it, because otherwise wherever this right here is, the little cross here, right here, wherever that is, that's the center of your image. So if you put the cross thing here, if you want to turn, you're gonna be turning on a dime, and it's not gonna look that good. So we've got our tank base, and actually the thing is, this is gonna be the back of the tank. I just realized that, and we'll always have to make our tank 0.90 degrees, because otherwise it will be pointing in the wrong direction. So let's group this so that we can move it all around in one bunch. So here's our tank base. So we're just gonna add some physics to this. Alright, so we're gonna always do the when flag clicked forever. And so I want to make this act more of like a tank than like something other than you'd like find in a shooter game, like my game Demon. We'd probably get this as a we'd make it so that if you like are gonna use the WASD keys because that's much easier. So like if you use the D key, you're not gonna move to the side. You're probably gonna turn and rotate right. So we're gonna work with that. So we're gonna do an if W press. So we're just gonna take this, scroll all the way down to W. Ooh, why is my scroll working? All right. Make this W. Duplicate this. Drag this here, duplicate it again, and so you're gonna make this S, and then make this top one A and D. So W, since this, we're gonna work more on this later on, but this is gonna be a slow tank, so we're only gonna make it move, let's say, 1 step, because that seems more, oh, it looks like my battery's dying, so I'm just gonna unplug this and just make my mouse a wired mouse. Just a second, sorry for the tone. Okay, so now we're charging. Okay, so we're gonna make this a -1, because so that when you press S, it's gonna go backwards, so. And then A, you're gonna turn. You're gonna have to turn fast, so probably like 2 degrees, and then make the D, make it turn right 2 degrees. So let's look at our physics so far. So as you can see, if I press A, we're rotating, and if we're pressing D, we're rotating the other direction, and we're able to move around like how an actual tank would. So that's good to know. So now let's make it so that it always stays in this one spot whenever the game starts. So it's best if we just set this to like an actual number. So let's set it to -140 perhaps. So then it'll automatically set to here. So this is how we're gonna do it. and we're going to make it point in the direction 0, so it's pointing straight automatically. Alright, so now we're gonna probably build the tank head. So we're gonna call this tank head. So if you're ever gonna use this code, and then once I'm completely done, if you're gonna post it, be sure to not just copy everything I do, because otherwise that's kind of just copying me. So kind of add your own, like, make this better, or make add some other features to the game, and make things look different, because otherwise it's copying and I'll have to report your thing. I'm afraid to do that, but just so kind of make yours originals, because yeah. And if you're always going to post it, please credit me, because it's my idea and I am the supreme master. Okay, so to make a tank head, we're also going to need the tank itself, so we know what to line it up with. So we're gonna have to make this grouped so that we don't like mess up here. And now I'm gonna zoom in, and we're gonna make our tank head. So this is obviously gonna be the same color. Actually, make it a little lighter, and I'm gonna make the outline a bit thinner. So now, let's see. Let's make this look like this. And we're obviously going to add like something else to it, like make this black. Add the square to it. And then we can add the muzzle thingy. The I don't know. But you know what I mean, like the total, like this thing. You see? So we're gonna bring it down a little, and then we're gonna add a little more of a, there we go. So now this looks a bit more like a tank. So obviously if it's gonna be, actually let's move this a little. So we're gonna group all of this into one thing, and then make this go back here. So if this is centered, then we're gonna probably make it look like this. So this is what our nozzle is gonna, or head thing is gonna look like. Actually, since there's probably someone like sticking out, we're probably just gonna add a head just like there. So let's just do that. And probably add some hair. And kind of just make it look like this. Yeah, that looks kind of weird, but don't worry, it'll look better. Alright, there we go. Alright. So now we're going to extend this to here. Extend this to here. Kind of make it so that it covers pretty much the entire head. And then we're gonna make these pointed. Alright, there we go. That looks like something good, and then we'll probably add some arms coming out of it, because why not? That's not what I meant to do. Control copy and flip this vertical. This is okay, but we're not looking into detail for this episode, so I think this will do for now. And plus it's not very noticeable from here, but now let's get onto the physics with this. So when flag clicked, we're gonna always make it forever go to the tank base, then I'm gonna copy this and always make this point towards mouse pointer. So, okay, something's wrong here again. Alright. So as you can see, this is what happens when you get uncentered stuff. It kind of looks like this, and you don't want that. So, what happens? So it's kind of that, let's copy this. Oh, no. See? Undo that. No, I don't want that. Okay, so we're gonna have to group this again somehow. Then we're gonna have to copy it. Go back. Send this to the back layer. So let's see what happened here. Oh yeah, wait, move this. Copy all of this. Group it. Alright. So let's see. This is where this is centered, right? So you want this to be here. But as you can see, so now if we look at our physics, just gonna delete this again. So now let's look at it. It looks a bit better, but it could be centered. So you know what I'm gonna do? That. Like, and then just like that sound effect where it's like, oh, and then like, yeah. So I guess we finished that part. Doesn't look very smooth, but again, I'm not a pro scratcher, I'm not Griff Patch, so this is acceptable. So we can also move around. And then now let's add the shooting effects. So like we're gonna add bullets. So I think this video is already getting a little long, so I might cut this video short, but we're just gonna add the bullets because that's a very major part. So we're always gonna put this to the front layer so it doesn't appear under. I'm looking at the tank head sprite. So we're always gonna make this go to the front layer, because otherwise, yeah. So tanks, I've never seen their bullets, like the bullet things. So we're just gonna make them yellow circles. Alright, let's see, what's the size of this? Okay, that's too big. Well, that's because we have an outline, but we can reduce that and make that look a bit better. Smaller. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Ungroup this. Make this bigger. Okay, that's much better. Alright, so now let's group it all back together and group. So anything I missed? Great. Yeah, so okay, we got everything. So now let's go back to here. Let's work on this costume. So we might make this like this but darker, and we'll add a bit of like that shine thingy. So get this and then get a line and just like make a curve right there. But then there's always this effect at the back, so we'll always do that, cause and this, I'm gonna swap it out. We're gonna change it for this color. Where'd my, there we go, alright. I'm gonna add it to this. And we're gonna rotate it around, bring it to the here, and yeah, so we're gonna make it kind of look like a comet sort of thing. Alright, that looks much better. So now all we have to do is make this point in 90 degrees. So there we go. Now we're gonna make it so that we're gonna copy this So since tanks are not fully automatic, we're gonna add it so that this is not an automatic. So I'm gonna say if mouse down, then create a clone of bullets. Wait until not mouse down. So now let's make this go so that it hides when I start as a clone. Go to tank head. Go to the tank head. Point in direction. Then we'll go to sensing. Oh, by the way, this code right here, credits to Warfame because he originally came up with it. So, yeah, I just don't want to get like, you know, whatever you call it. So, now we have to do repeat until touching edge because we probably won't get to the bullets, but the enemy things. So we'll do that tomorrow. Repeat until touching edge. Move 10 steps. Delete this clone. So now, oh, and yeah, and let's make this show. Make the show. Go to front layer. So this is going to make it go on top of the tank head. And then we're going to make it go backwards one layer so that it actually goes behind it, but on top of the tank base. So let's see what our results are. Yep. So if I'm trying to hold it down, it's not going to work. But it looks like if you just spam it, it's going to take too long, so we're going to add a bit of a wait time. Add wait like 0.9 seconds. So now let's look at this. Yeah, so now I'm spamming it, but it's not going to work. So that, actually let's quickly look at how far we've gotten so far. So we can move around the tank. We can point in any direction we want. So I think this is good enough for today, but just before, we might just as well add a backdrop because that is always what depicts the scene of what is happening in the story. But I'm not adding a storyline to this. But that works as a backdrop. So that's pretty much it for this video. We've covered the tank's physics today, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found this helpful. This is pretty much just the player, but tomorrow we're gonna add the enemies, like the bullets, the missiles raining from the sky, and we can add the variables. So because this video went a bit too long because of troubleshooting and making the tanks, but this is probably going to end up being like something that is really, really long. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to like and subscribe. We're near 100. I've said that enough actually, but like and subscribe. Credit me if you're just gonna post it now. It's called Shooting Simulator. Shoot edges, get points. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So see you tomorrow. See you in the next one, whatever you call it. Bye.